Footballers are often seen driving their expensive cars, but sometimes they can't control their speed. Well, not the speed on the field, but on the road, and this can lead to horrible accidents. There are some instances when a seatbelt saved a legendary Premier League striker, while on another occasion, a football was involved in so many car crashes that he gave headaches to insurance companies. This list also involves a Brazilian star who was in a near-fatal crash. So without further wait, here are 15 footballers who were involved in terrible car crashes. Number 1, Kareem Benzema. Well, a defeat in an El Clasico can be painful, which can shatter a player's career. But for Benzema, his debut El Clasico night was awful for other reasons. While on his way back after a 1-0 defeat, the forward met with an accident in the suburbs of the Spanish capital. The airbags were activated and thankfully he wasn't seriously injured. But this wasn't the first time. He was also involved in another accident where his Audi RS6 collided with a Nissan Note. And this time, reckless driving and overspeeding without a license earned him a ticket to a local Spanish court. Number 2, Marcus Rashford. He might be driving defenders crazy, but he also has his fair share of horrible times. The England striker was once driving home from training when another motorist careered into the rear right-hand side of his 60,000 black Mercedes CLA 45 Coupe. The accident left the then 19-year-old shaken up and suffering from aches and pains. But he was checked over by physios at the Carrington training ground, who said he had a lucky escape and ruled he was fit to play. Well, someone followed the footsteps of Rashford, Bruno Fernandez maybe? Just like he did during the recent Manchester Derby? Number 3, Neymar. He's just breathtaking to watch, arguably the finest talent of this generation. But had he not survived that crash, we would not have seen his magic. Neymar Jr.'s dad thought that his newborn baby had died in a near-fatal car crash. The family was on their way to visit relatives when they were hit by an oncoming car on a steep mountain road in lashing rain. We couldn't find Neymar Jr. We thought the force of the impact had thrown him out of the car. I shudder every time I remember the moment. But who believes in God has faith. The people who rescued us found our son under the seat of the car. That was indeed a miracle. From surviving the unsurvivable to becoming one of the Brazilian greats. That's Neymar for you. Number 4, Wayne Rooney. Manchester United's Wayne Rooney hasn't been involved in 1 but 3 car crashes up until now. The England forward damaged is £170,000 Aston Martin, a £65,000 Range Rover, and also saw his £40,000 Escalade damaged by a lorry. On another occasion, he lost his cool while trying to park his Lamborghini Gallardo, but ended up facing oncoming traffic on the A6 in Macclesfield. Reports also suggest that he found difficulty finding a car insurance company, as most were familiar with his reckless driving skills. Why always me? Suits better on Rooney, doesn't it? Number 5, Bruno Fernandez. Speaking of Fernandez, he is also on the usual suspect list of car crashes, and that too ahead of a crucial game against Liverpool last year. Fernandez, who was in a Porsche, collided with a Volkswagen SUV while driving through Dunham Massey, Altrincham. Gladly, he did not suffer major injuries, but it appeared that the accident clearly shook him as Liverpool battered United 4-0, with the Portuguese failing to make a mark. Number 6, Sergio Aguero Kun. Aguero is best known for his last-minute goal against QPR. What a day that was, but very few know that the Argentinian was once involved in a life-threatening car crash. Sergio Aguero was involved in a car accident in the Netherlands, which saw the striker hurt his ribs and could have resulted in his death had he not worn a seatbelt. Aguero said, "When I got to hospital, I asked the doctor if I could play for City on Saturday against Stoke. He said, I don't believe so. I took a moment to think and realized it's thanks to wearing a seatbelt that I'm able to talk about this at all." Well, Aguero was an adult when he had an accident, unlike Neymar, who was in a horrible crash as an infant. Number 7, Anthony. Anthony is well known for his thrilling pace in the flanks, but it appears that he's also a fan of pace outside the field. Following the Red Devils' 1-0 victory over Wolverhampton Wanderers on New Year's Eve, Anthony crashed his £100,000 BMW sports car on a motorway in a terrifying incident. He did not sustain any injuries but was left badly shaken. Police arrived at the scene, and the 22-year-old passed a breathalyzer test. Not sure about Old Trafford boy's driving skills, as he's not the only United player to feature in a car crash. More on that in a while. Number 8, Cesc Fabregas. Well, Fabregas had severe hamstring issues during his early Gunner days. But did you know that his pain caused an accident? One fine morning, Fabregas was going for training whilst having that muscle pain. A slight uneasiness led him to bump his Mercedes SL 55 AMG into the back of an Audi A3. Well, Cesc Fabregas emerged unscathed from a car accident, but it seemed that from then on in, the assist maker needed someone to assist him in driving. Number 9, Balotelli. It isn't hard to predict Balotelli's name on such occasions. The Italian had been into many controversies throughout his playing days. First, that "why always me" banter, and then his shocking 360 that missed an open goal. But now, we also have a reckless Balotelli driver. Once, he crashed his white Bentley into the Deansgate Locks area of Manchester. Fortunately, the player was not injured in the crash, and neither was the driver of the other car. But this incident didn't stop him from overspeeding, as he was also involved in another accident on the morning of New Year's Day 2020. Why always him? Number 10, Cristiano Ronaldo. He might be a football goat, but you can't say that about his driving skills. Back in his Manchester United days, he wasn't quite perfect when it came to handling the wheel of his Ferrari 599 GTB. So one day, while on his way to the United training ground, CR7 bumped his car into a wall in the tunnel. One of the front tires actually came off the car and rolled to a stop 200 yards away. Edwin van der Sar, who was traveling behind CR7, came to the scene and was shocked to see Ronaldo get out of it without a scratch. It was a miracle, but it didn't affect the Portuguese, who immediately went to the football ground for a rigorous training session. Just CR7 doing CR7 dinging. Number 11, Andre Onana. Have you seen this image of Andre Onana when Ajax defeated Feyenoord? A banner in the stand behind Onana's goal caught fire, and we thought things couldn't get more serious. Well, life has its own ways, as that very week, the IAC's goalkeeper was involved in a gruesome-looking car crash while on international duty with Cameroon. Gruesome is an understatement, because if you look at the car's condition after the accident, it looks straight out of an action scene. Luckily, Onana didn't have any serious injuries, and he should thank the gods for that. Number 12, Tammy Abraham. The England striker slammed his Porsche into another vehicle while he was on his way to the AS Roma training ground. Luckily, no action was required and both drivers were unhurt. Inside information: this is not the first time for Tammy Abraham, as he was once fined £660 for driving his Lamborghini over the speed limit in November 2021. Wait. Fast forward to 2017. Abraham was caught driving without a license or insurance after crashing outside Bristol City's training ground. Number 13, Ian Wright. On a rainy February morning in 2004, Wright was driving his Ferrari 360 Spider on the A3 motorway in England. As he approached a bend in the road, his car lost control and spun out, crashing into a barrier. The impact was severe, and the car was extensively damaged. Despite the severity of the crash, Wright emerged from the wreckage unscathed. He later attributed his survival to the car's safety features and his own quick reflexes. However, the incident left him shaken, and he realized how close he had come to tragedy. Number 14, David Beckham. In February 1998, Beckham was driving his brand new BMW M5 along the M4 motorway in England when he lost control of the vehicle. The car skidded off the road, flipped over, and landed in a ditch. Beckham, who was alone in the car, managed to escape the wreckage with only minor injuries. He was shaken, but grateful to be alive. The car crash was a wake-up call for Beckham. He realized the importance of safe driving and the fragility of life. He also became more cautious on the roads and developed a stronger appreciation for the people around him. Number 15, Diego Maradona. On July 28, 2007, Maradona was traveling in his Hyundai Sonata along an Argentine highway when his vehicle collided with a parked bus. The impact was severe, and the car was left in a mangled state. Maradona, who was not wearing his seatbelt, was ejected from the vehicle and suffered multiple injuries, including a fractured skull and a punctured lung. Despite the gravity of the accident, Maradona miraculously survived. He was rushed to the hospital, where he underwent emergency surgery and spent several weeks recovering. The incident left him with persistent health issues, but he managed to make a partial comeback to football management. Do let us know in the comments section if you're a fan of him. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as well. Also, hit the subscribe button below and turn on notifications to get more interesting clips. We'll catch you next time.